Hello friends, this is Karma and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be potting up these beautiful cuttings that I received from my friend Nelly from Puerto Rico. If you haven't seen the video of the unboxing, I will link it below. But today we are potting up plants, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so I've got everything set up here and I'm actually going to be using two different types of soil because I've got two different types of plants here. For the Epiphyllum ones, like this Orchid Cactus and this Staphylia, I'm going to be using this mix here, which is a mix of 2 parts cactus soil, 1 part perlite, and 1 part orchid bark. Remember that these epiphyllums live in tropical jungles, and so you want to make sure that you have a soil that is very free draining, and this perlite and orchid barks will help them do that. So they should do well in this. I've used it before and on my other papilliums and on my Hoya, and it works really well. And these are all rooted off already, or calloused off rather. And this one's already even getting another baby on there. Now I'm one to not use gloves normally. I like to get my hands dirty. So sorry for that, but you know, I just like the feel of the soil on my hands, and you know, I'll clean off my underneath my nails. Now I'm going to use some of this rooting powder and just give that a little dip in there just to help it out, and just tuck it right in there. And this particular plant, I think I'm going to keep inside. I have a space on my curtain rod for another hanging plant, and I think I'm going to put it there because I don't have a whole lot of space outside that I can put this, because it's kind of wide. So I think I'm going to put it in a hanger. I do have a macrame hanger for it. So that is the orchid cactus there. Now this is the other orchid cactus, but this one is, I believe it's either called a curly Sue or curly lock. It is an orchid cactus, but it has this twirling, curling effect to it. And I had this pot already with some soil in it. I'm just gonna take out a little bit. Make room. Move it around a little bit because I've been kind of sitting there for a little bit. And this one, I just like to use my little spade and just kind of work it down in there, open up a gap, and just tuck it in there. You see that it looks like it had been planted pretty deep, so I want to try and match that same depth. This one wasn't quite as deep. Down in there, open up a gap. And this one is just a little one. Tuck it down in there, and I think this one also I'm going to hang right next to the other orchid cactus. I don't want the leaf to be be right on the soil. Now, these little pots here, let me clean them up a little bit. I just drilled some holes in this little pot. And this one, you probably remember this from one of my last videos. I received a set of 4 of these terracotta pot ceramic. They are ceramic, but they're terracotta pot looking pots that have a little handle on, so they look like a little mug. They did not have any holes in them, so I did drill holes in both of these before. And I'm gonna put the puppies on these. Okay, and I am going to use the same type of soil. Okay. This cutting here already has some roots, but it is hardened off, so it's ready to be just right in there, snug right in there. There you have it. So this one is like that Succulent, but this is the giant one where that flower is much bigger. It's getting shoots there, and you see where the line is, where it was potted. Okay, so here, make sure I've got all those roots down. As I move soil, I kind of push it down. Maybe a little further. I want to get it right at, try and get it right at that line. There we go. And we add some more. Some pebbles around it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to succulents and cacti. So for that, I have this soil here, which is a mixture of cactus soil, and then I added more perlite, which is the white that you see there. So that is what I use for my succulents and cacti. Now this one, this is that crested, I believe it's a euphorbia. Look at the root system on that. Isn't that gorgeous? Just brush it off a little bit. I know I'm going to put it in dirt, but I just want to clean off this portion. Dirt off. And these brushes here, friends, are just old paint brushes that I had. I wasn't using, but they're nice and fluffy, soft, so they don't hurt the plant. I do have some that are a little bit tougher, coarser, stiffer, but these little soft ones in this size and this size, or smaller ones, are real soft, won't hurt the plant at all. So you can pick a set of these up at Michael's for, you know, $3 or $4. Okay, so make sure we got all those in there. You see the line there. Center it. Let's get some more soil in here. I will add some pebbles to this to give it some support until the roots have settled down. bigger. I do have this. I got this gravel here at I think it was Dollar Tree that I got it. Add some of those in there. I only have the black one. I ran out of the white, but this will work. Okay. That's in its new home. Okay, so this one, I've had to take off some of the leaves because I was not able to get this one into soil immediately after I unboxed it. So some of the lower leaves I've had to take off. No problem though, because it's still nice and healthy here. So I'm gonna put it in this one, maybe a little bit lower to give it some support. And this particular terracotta pot, I got this at Lowe's. This doesn't have the rim on it. I like this sleek look of it. It's a little bit different than your more traditional terracotta pots. And I think this size, which is almost a 5-inch, not quite, was $1.98. So I like those. A little bit different than the traditional terracotta pots with the rim. So before I put all in, I'm gonna leave a little bit of a groove there to kind of nestle that in. Okay, we use the spade for this because I don't want to disturb anymore. Sometimes when you get a cutting that's an offshoot like this and it's kind of a little bit of a slant, don't worry about that because it will straighten itself out, and particularly as it seeks sun. What I will do to give it some support is maybe tuck in a pebble right there to give it some support so it's not leaning right up against it, kind of straighten it out a little. Maybe another one right there. Like that. And it looks like it needs a little cleaning up. I have checked these plants for any little bugs or anything. Nelly did a good job of taking care of her plants. There weren't any issues with them. There you go. There's another one that I'm gonna put these cuttings of kalanchoe. Here's a crassula, some type of pagoda, I think. And, oh, here it is. I've got this little cutting of elephant bush, variegated elephant bush. So I'm gonna tuck those in here. You hear doggies in the background. They are trying to behave themselves, but it's difficult. They're fighting over a ball or something. You know what they say, never work with animals and kids? It is true. Okay, so you see I'm just kind of using my finger to tuck in a little edge and slide it right in as it opens up. These little cuttings that have no roots, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in there. And that is hard enough that I can just slide it right in. This one too. Facing this way. There's another one with some good roots on it. Push out and then towards you, and that opens up a nice little trench. Tuck it in. You can use a spade or one of these, definitely. I'm one that, like I said, likes to get her hands dirty. This is another little, this is a furry one. So, as opposed to these this calico is fleshy. Somebody just took a dive there. This one's furry. These larger pebbles I got at Dollar Tree. And just place them right at the base where the stem is. You can add smaller ones around it if you want to add some color, but these they don't have to be real big to help support the stems. Okay, last one. We've got 3 different ones we're going to put in. We've got this cutting, the Echeveria. Look how lovely that looks. I have taken some leaves off of the bottom and I'm propagating those already. We have this little cacti, punty it looks like. A little bit stretched out, but I think it'll be fine. And then these are a type of aloe. I found these after I had done my video, so I don't think you've seen these. But these are very well rooted already. So I am going to make dish. Here's another one of those flushed terracotta pots in a larger size. To use a little bit of rooting hormone. This leaf looks very loose. I'll take that off. And the stem is very sturdy where I can just set that down. The soil is very fluffy, so you can push down on it to secure the plant and it'll sink, so that's why too. Bottom petals are coming off. So you can push down on it and it'll be fine. This is tall, so I think I'm going to center it. It's rooted off or callus off. I keep getting those two confused, but you know what I mean. So open that up, tuck it in. Definitely going to be using some pebbles to hold this piece in because it's tall and it's top heavy. So and it's a little curved because it looked like it was probably going towards the sun wherever it was. Some bigger ones. And then these I'm going to set on the side. And that will fill in nicely. Now, what I could do even, if I wanted to fill in even more, these are a little soft, but I think I can add them, is just place these in there and let them take root and propagate right in this let them propagate right in here, and they'll just start growing new Echeverias right in there. So let me clean up a little bit here and I'll show you all of these along with the ones that I have outside that I've already put in. Okay friends, we are out on my balcony here and I am going to give you a quick tour of where I placed the other plants that Nelly sent me. You probably remember that she did send me a dragon bones. So this one right here in the front is the one she sent me. I just recently repotted the 2 I had into this larger pot because look how big they're getting and they were bumping into each other. So I had just enough room to add this one in. I think it's gonna make a beautiful pot once they all start growing taller. So that's where I added. Over here, I added, right here is the fishbone cactus. No, I just went ahead and added it to my pot that I already had the rickrack cactus in. You can see the difference between the two, how much thinner and longer the leaves are on this one as opposed to the rickrack where it's a little stubbier. So for right now, I just added it into this, and I'm gonna let it winter there until springtime, where I can put it in its own pot. So it should be just fine. And I also added the felt grape that she sent me. This is these two right here. No, wait a minute. These two right here, get them mixed up. These two right here are the ones she sent me. This one's mine and that one's mine. The one that's having a little bit of issue, not quite growing, but this one and this one are the ones she sent me. So there was just enough room to fill up the pot there with those. I think I'm gonna leave them in there, and they're gonna be just fine overwintering there. And up here, I have this Rhipsalis. I forget the name of it. I'll put it down below. But this Rhipsalis in this hanger here, and it's going to do just fine there, hanging on my bamboo divider. Already watered it, and it's perked up. It's going to do great there. If I need to take it inside over winter, because it may get too cold out here or something for it, then that's no problem. But it's going to be fine there. There's another Rhipsalis down here that I added to this pot that has some cuttings of a San Pedro cactus. And I'm going to leave it here for right now. I just honestly, I didn't have an extra pot and I wasn't sure where to put it, so I placed it here. And I know that these do not have the same type of watering regimens or requirements, so that's why I'm hesitant to leave it here. But I will probably move it within a week or so once I find another place or another empty pot for it. The sedums, I believe these are either Firestorm or California Sunset Cryptosedums. I put them here in this container to kind of fill it out because it had some bare spots, but it also adds a really nice pop of color, don't you think? So there were four cuttings, and they're gonna do great here. I did also add in the very back, I added one of the other cuttings for the variegated elephant bush. And the last thing I want to show you, look how cute these are. They are actual terracotta pots, about 1 inch in diameter, and I almost didn't find them because they're just so small. I got an email from her when she saw the unboxing video and asked me if I had found them, and then I did find them in a padded envelope that I thought was for packing, but I put in there a little tiny leaf propagation rosette and a little tiny cacti that was actually from seed. So that is what I put in there. There you have it, friends. I hope you enjoyed the potting up of all of these wonderful gifts that I received from Nelly. I will keep you updated on how they are doing on balcony updates, but I think they're going to do really, really well. If you haven't already, friends, please do give this video a thumbs up. It helps me so much. And don't forget to subscribe and make sure to hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of my videos, okay? Have a blessed day, friends.